Welcoming you back to Down the Stretch.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good morning,
Good, Ronny. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Doing great. Doing great.
Ronny, I mentioned that half the career victories from Secret Gypsy have come right here at Saratoga while our audience watches her victory in last year's allowance race. And she'll be inside under pressure as we pick it up. Talk to our audience about Secret Gypsy.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Talk to our audience about Secret Gypsy, if you would.
Well, she's, obviously a super fast filly. We do like to draw today with a lot of the speed on the inside. I was real pleased with that. Had the Werner up here. You try to keep all the excuses out, and we couldn't find a fight for her, so we banned her far enough out that hopefully that's not going to be an excuse either. So, but she's been doing real well. We kind of I missed the last stake that I had her in. Actually down at the fairgrounds, and we had a little issue, and it was a foot, and it ended up coming out good, and so we're back ready to race again. So, we're trying for that elusive graded race, hopefully, to here today.
Ronny, she broke her maiden impressively at Saratoga in her debut back in 2007, then didn't race again for 9 months. What happened?
She cracked her cannon bone. I actually worked her after that race. I worked her at Saratoga, getting her ready for a stake at Belmont, and she came back with a hairline crack in the cannon bone. So we had to put a screw in it, and since then that's been a non-issue. So that's the reason she missed that time.
Ronny, her last victory, as you mentioned briefly, came in the Esplanade at the fairgrounds on December 20th. While our audience watches that race, where's she been since?
Hello?
We've still got you, Ronny.
Ronny, our audience is watching the Esplanade, which was her last start, but that was 3 months ago. Where's she been since then?
She's been right there. It's been right there at New Orleans. She hadn't left. Like I said, we were actually shooting for a stake there later on, and we missed it. But she's just been putting her works in right there at New Orleans.
Ronny, I noticed a gap in her workouts. According to the racing form, she worked on January 30th, then didn't work again till February 23rd. Any problem?
Yeah, that was where I brought up earlier, Mike. It was she had a foot that came up and had some filling in the pastern, and it was really right before the stake that we were actually running in at New Orleans, and it was just something that it was pretty minor, but at the same time we just didn't know for sure what it was. She was a little off, had some heat in it, and was just something we were not going to take a chance of hurting her. So we scratched her, and that's the reason you see that time off in that period.
Ronny, you mentioned that you had a Werner up. Her last work was on March 10th. Appeared to be a nice breeze in 59-1. How tight, how fit, how ready is she for this afternoon's Distaff?
Well, I think she's there. Hope she's there. That was a good work. Robbie Alvarado pretty much works her every time. He was very pleased with it. After the work, she couldn't have blown out a match. I mean, it was just a walk in the park for her, and he did squeeze on her last 8 and let her out just to make sure we were there. And seems like we're sure tight enough.
Ronny, you mentioned earlier, nice post position draw. You've got a filly with rateable tactical speed. You've drawn outside. Realistically, what do you expect from Secret Gypsy in this afternoon's Distaff?
I think that she'll set off of them. I think the speed inside of her, if they do what they've been doing, we should set off of them. She's still going to be forwardly placed, but she won't be off of them much. But she has, as times went on, and as all of them, as they get older, they get wiser a little bit, hopefully, like people. But the horses are the same way, and she has been saddling more and more. So I look forward to be sitting off of them. But what a great field of fillies. You got a lot of fillies with a lot of confidence. I was looking, a lot of them have won their last 3 outs, 4 outs, including us. So a lot of fillies in there don't think they can be beat. So that's That's always something.
Well, do you think you can get beat? Do you get?
I hope after today. Same thing, we'll see.
Ronny, thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. We appreciate it. All the best with Secret Gypsy later this afternoon in the Distaff here at Aqueduct.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good luck,
Thanks,
Ronny.
Ronny.
Very much
Ronny
so.
Werner, ladies and gentlemen, and I personally think she's the key to the race.
Yeah.
Coming off that layoff,
Yeah.
perfectly drawn outside, and she'll be tested a little bit for class this afternoon, but I do think she's the key to the race. Later this afternoon, the only 3-year-old race, the Lanes End at Turfway. Westside Bernie's in there, who has run well on the synthetic. Biddle Road comes off, a 4th in Southern California.
Out there in the Lewis,
to some very good horses.
Yeah.
So that's the one main race later this afternoon. Next Saturday,